Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 19. And when your people say, "Why has the Lord our God done all these things to us?" you shall say to them, "As you have forsaken me and served foreign gods in your land, so you shall serve foreigners in a land that is not yours." One of the debates that people have today is this answering the question, why? I don't have an specific example, but it goes something like this. A person perhaps is an authority and he would tell another to do something, and the person would say, "Why?" Now perhaps the person that was giving the order did not know why or did not have time to give a lengthy answer, so that person would reply, "Because." And this should have been answered, this should have been enough to answer the question, but the person who was given the task might say this, "Well, because why?" And to that, the person in charge would say, "Because I said so." And that would be the end of it, hopefully. Here in this passage, after explaining what would happen to Judah due to the Babylonian conquest that was coming their way, the natural question that the remnant of people would ask is this: why has the Lord our God done all these things to us? Why do we have the destruction of Judah and Jerusalem? Why are we being carted off to Babylon? The answer to these questions should not have been a surprise to the people, but apparently they would need to hear the reason. So here is the concise reason. The Lord stated it this way: "As you have forsaken me and served foreign gods in your land, so you shall serve foreigners in a land that is not yours." You see, they brought the calamity upon themselves. They reaped that which they had sown. They chose to serve foreign gods in the land that God had given to them. And because they did make that choice, they now would serve foreigners in a foreign land, the land of Babylon. It is interesting to me that with all the forewarnings given to the people of Judah, the people would not listen. God spoke to the people through Jeremiah. He would give ample warnings and calls to repentance. If they understood the law, they should have understood the veracity, the truth of the prophet's message. Yet the warnings were not heeded. Not even the king and the priests of the nation took seriously the prophetic warnings. So today the scriptures cry out to us and give us many warnings. These warnings are given to us as individual believers and to the churches as a whole. We must guard ourselves individually and as churches against the apostasy of the culture. We must not morph to adapt cultural morals that are going way off the charts from where God says we should be in the scriptures. We must not grow cold or apathetic in our devotion to God. To do so would be to fall into the same trap that ancient Israel had experienced. The good news for us as true believers is that our future is guaranteed. We have a place in heaven guaranteed for us. However, on this side of heaven, we often leave ourselves lacking blessings because we slide into the diversion of moral relativism and often a cold heart. Sometimes we will slide and suffer the consequences thereof. Then when we hit the bottom and find ourselves there, we ask the question, why? Perhaps we should just examine ourselves. Have we compromised the full truth of God's unchanging word? Have we grown spiritually cold in our devotion to God? The solution that we have is the same one that God gave Israel. And what is that? It's repentance.